Good morning, all of you. Please maintain the protocol. Mute yourself during the session. Take precaution. Your mic should be muted. I think am I audible? Subbarao sir, good morning, and once again welcome. Shall we
Good
start?
morning, ma'am.
Shall we start?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. First of all, my salutation to Supreme Spirit, my deepest salutation to Founder President Param Shraddheya Ma Radha Devi Ji Goenka, who established this institution for the empowerment of women. Honorable President Mr. Dilip Rajji Goenka sir, Honorable Principal Dr. Devendra Ji Vyas sir, Honorable Vice Principal and Head of Department Dr. Ambadas Ji Pandey sir, the resource person of today's national level workshop, Honorable Dr. Subbarao sir, all the resource person, faculty members, research scholars and dear students. Once again, I welcome on behalf of Institutions Innovation Council and Department of Commerce, I, Dr. Rupa Gupta, welcome you in this national level workshop on problem solving and ideation. As the vision of our institution is empowerment of women through the economic independence for the betterment of society. So our Honorable President Sir is also working in this direction, and that is why he has established Department of Self-Learning, and I'm happy to declare here this whole program is organized by with the support of the students of Department of Self-Learning. So in this occasion, Honorable Principal Dr. Devendra Ji Vyas sir has conveyed his message. He has given best wishes for us. In the same way, he has also given best wishes on the occasion of National Constitution Day. So today we all are celebrating National Constitution Day. So with this, thank you so much. Now we are going to start this national level workshop. I request, or I would like to invite Miss Rachi Khapri, the student of Department of Self-Learning, to introduce today's our resource person, Dr. Subbarao sir. Rachi Khapri.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving me this opportunity. Good morning, all of you. It takes me a great honor and privilege to introduce this person of today's workshop. Honorable Dr. Subbarao sir's diversified qualification include a BTech in Electrical and Electronic Engineering, MBA in Operation Management, MSc in Psychology, PG Diploma in Environment Science and Sustainable Development. He has done his PhD from Maulana Azad National Institute of Technology in Bhopal. Dr. Subbarao has the professional certifications such as IGC in Occupational Health and Safety by NEBOSH, United Kingdom. Harvard Management from the Harvard Business School. He was qualified in the ABSET 2013. He also holds a certificate of proficiency in boiler operating engineering and project management, IPMA level D. He is presently working as a senior manager in National Thermal Power Corporation Limited, Dharlipalli Super Thermal Power Project, Odisha. Earlier, he has worked in NTPC Limited, Talcher Thermal and Ramagundam Power Station. Before joining NTPC, he was Mazegaon Dock Limited, Mumbai in NHPC Limited. He has over the 17 years industrial experience. He has presented several research papers in international and national conferences and have been the resource person for the webinars and FDPS. He has blog and YouTube channel through which he shares his ideas. With this, it is my humble request to Honorable Resource Person Dr. Subbarao Sir to deliver his thoughts on problem solving and ideation. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank the Institution Innovation Council and the Department of Commerce of Srimati Radha Devi Goenka College for Women, Maharashtra. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to share my ideas on problem solving and ideation today. Thank you. And may I start, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, sir, you are sharing. Yes, sir, your PPT is visible.
Right. Thank you. Good morning, all of you. Today's topic is problem solving and ideation. It's basically a workshop. So we should understand the basic difference between a conference, symposium, and seminar and workshop. Workshop is basically to solve a bigger problem and understand the solutions and practical aspects of a particular problem, right? So here we are solving the problem solving itself. So we should understand how to solve the problems and get some ideas out of this workshop. At the end of the workshop, we should understand what is problem solving and how to come out with good ideas to solve different problems coming in our lives. So I'm Dr. Subbarao. Welcome you all for today's workshop. And where do we find problems? We find normally in mathematics, right? So it is very problematic for the child and the parents because of the problems in mathematics. Solving the problems in mathematics is a bigger problem, right? So that is one problem we normally face. And the other problems we face in are in research. So in research also we find problems and statement of the problem, identification of the problem, statement of the problem, scope of that, research methodology, what is the research methodology used to solve that problem, all those things constitute research. Okay, in research also we find problems. In real life also we face problems on day-to-day basis. So whether this mathematics, solving the problems in mathematics or solving the research problems will solve our real life problems or not, that is the question actually. So if a master of mathematics person can really solve the problems in his life or not, that is the debatable question. And some researchers have done extensive research on this also, whether solving the problems in mathematics will solve the real world problems or not. Okay, so solving the problems is very, very important for everybody in the world. And we normally say every problem will have a solution. We should identify that. So solution will be there somewhere. We should identify that for each and every problem. That is a good news, right? So every problem will have a definite solution. If we are not facing any problems, then we are on the wrong track. This is also told by Vivekananda and other big people. If you are not at all facing any problems, then you are on the wrong track. You are facing problems means you are in the path of success. In the path of excellence, we normally face problems. Please try to understand, never give up any problem and never get stuck in any juncture of life. If you are facing a problem, means it is a good sign, right? Do we have a key for the problems like in mathematics? Most of the people don't know that there will be a key book available for every textbook of mathematics. So every problem will have a solution in the key book. But most of the students, they don't know about that. and they still try to solve the problems. And if key is available, then what is the problem? We'll directly understand the solution and always get used to copy paste the solution. But in real world, there will be new problems coming in. Then you have to apply your experience, your logic, and your knowledge. So that is how we have to practice solving the problems. In mathematics also, we do practice to solve different kind of problems, and in the examination finally something else will come. Still with this practice and with the knowledge, with the basics of formula and all, we will be solving the problems in mathematics, right? Similarly in life also, we should solve the problems and we should get the experience out of it. We should learn from the mistakes of others, and we should learn from the mistakes of ourselves and try to solve the problems more efficiently and effectively in life, right? Learn from the mistakes of self and others. So even in mathematics also we do. Suppose some mistake is there, where that mistake has happened, from there the entire solution becomes wrong. So we have to cross check where we have done the wrong thing and we have to correct it. Then we will arrive at the proper solution. In the similar fashion, in life also, we should analyze where we did a mistake, where we have committed a mistake in a decision, in applying some principle, whether we are principally wrong or not. That also we should analyze. Then we can easily find out the root cause of the problem, where we did a mistake, we can correct it. Even we should learn from others. It is always better to learn from others' mistakes instead of we doing mistakes. So we should always be having so much of information. What are the types of problems and what are the solutions for that? So it is like practicing mathematics problems, right? So the more problems you solve, the more confident you will be in facing the examination. Here examination means life related problems also. Okay, that is how I am bringing an analogy. So even in research also, so many research papers you have published, means you are used to solving the problems. So you can easily produce much more standard research, much more high standard research you can produce when you are publishing more and more research papers. So similarly in real life also, if you are facing more and more problems, you will become much more confident and strong in life to lead any kind of situation. Okay. And one more important thing is control the controllable. We should control which is controllable, which is in our hands. In most of the cases, something is out of our control. So we call it luck, we call it bad luck, we call it is in God's hands. Okay. So it is in destiny. So many terms we name it. But what we say is we should control the controllable. Whatever you can control, that only you should try to focus on, that only you should try to control. Just forget about which is out of our control. So most of the people bother about, because of that person, I am facing this problem. You cannot control that person, no? So you have to control your mind, because you can control yourself only. Your mind, your body is controllable. That also we are facing problems in controlling our mind and body, right? So we should focus on ourselves, our problems, and we should come out with our solutions innovatively. We can take the help of others, okay, in solving the problems, but we cannot blame others for creating problems. So it is like a God's script in which we all are actors. So we should understand our roles and responsibilities and act accordingly. Find out what is our responsibility, our role to solve the problem. And all these problems we should have a different perspective. That is, We should observe the problem, we should understand the problem and where the root cause is, then we can identify the solution very easily. That process also we will see in the next slides. What is problem solving? In this, I want to explain you different methodologies adopted for problem solving. Different problem solving techniques I want to explain. Okay, because it is a kind of workshop, you should understand the techniques. So the more thrust is on techniques, right? So Six Sigma approach is normally used in manufacturing industries, and basically business organizations also apply this Six Sigma principle. In this, we have DMAIC, that is define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. First of all, we should understand what is the problem. Define the problem clearly. Most of the times, if you understand the problem clearly, half of it, it gets solved. Okay. So most of the times, people don't understand what is the problem. Without understanding, they'll get so much of worries in their mind. Okay. So first of all, we should be very clear what exactly is the problem. Suppose you have a health problem. What exactly your problem is? What is the root cause? Root cause might be your food. Okay. You are not good at studies. What is your problem? Inability to concentrate might be your problem. Or understanding the basics of mathematics may be your problem. Or the communication skills, or the stress. So many problems might be there. Please list out and identify the correct problem. Define it very clearly. If you write your problem very clearly, half of your job is over. Okay. In most of the times I see, even in projects of MBA and BTech also, they don't know what is their aim. What is their aim of their project? What is their goal of their project? Objective of their project. Without knowing that, if you are doing something, means it is of no use. So you should have a clear statement of your problem. That is define. Then measure. So there will be different variables. You should understand the entire history of that by collecting some data. Data is required to analyze, right? So what are the different options available for you? Please list out all the options one by one. And then analyze which problem will have which solution. So you should try to match, and depending on your resources. What are your resources? Man, machine, material, money, and time. Suppose in mathematics also, you have a very big problem, and there are some easy problems also. In a particular examination, which problems you will choose? Automatically you will be choosing small problems so that you can easily solve those. Unnecessarily, you don't want to waste time on a very big and time consuming problem. Of course, if it is important, then you can attempt that. So you have to prioritize based on your resources also. So, and its importance, its urgency. If a problem is of very much emergency, then we should immediately attend to that. Okay. So that is how you have to choose the problems also. There are 10 problems with you. Which problem is very important and needs to be sorted out immediately? That needs to be given first priority. So that is how you will be choosing your problems to solve. And you should analyze based on the data available to you. Even in mathematics also, you have that given data, and then after understanding that data, you will be applying one formula, and then you will be substituting, right? So that is how here also in real life also you can apply this. Even in industry also we apply this. Define, measure, analyze, and then start improving on that. So you have implemented that, you have found the solution, try to implement. Most of the times we find the solution, we know the solution also, but we don't implement, right? Suppose I'm diabetic, let us say. So I have to change my food food intake, food habits, and lifestyle modification I need to do. I should do yoga, I should do meditation for better health. Everybody knows cigarette smoking is injurious to health. Everybody knows smoking, drinking are bad habits. Everybody knows. But still, people are doing that. Okay? All these are controllable. Still, we are not controlling. We know the solution for these problems, but still we are not able to do that. So we should have that determination to solve the problems. So we have to improve slowly. Lifestyle modification also cannot be done in a single day. We have to improve step by step. And then control our mind, control our thoughts, control our actions. So control others, control yourself. So control the controllable. So that is the final word we can say. If it is in the design phase, suppose if you are manufacturing a new thing or new idea, then it is DMA, DV. That is define, measure, analyze. It will be common for both DMAC and DMAD. Design and verify. Here, there we are applying to a process and improving it further. Here you are designing a new solution, designing a new product, and verify whether it is suiting to your customer requirement or not, whether it is suiting to your problem or not, whether it is solving your problem or not. That you are coming with a new solution, right? Till now, no such people have found that or applied that solution. You have come up out of box. Then that is design, right? So you have to verify whether this is offering the best solution or not, whether it is a proper solution or not, whether it is solving your problem or not. That also we should verify, right? And the most popular problem solving technique is plan, do, check, act. That is PDCA cycle. All these are quality management system principles I am explaining you. We can apply these concepts in real world also. Even a small problem, we can plan it accordingly to solve that and do that. Once you plan, you have to implement that. Then check whether that is solving your problem or still some action is required. If some action is required, take that action. That is act. Plan, do, check, act. And again, plan. Suppose if still some problems are there, again plan, do that according to your plan and check it whether it is solving your problems or not. If it is not so, then act accordingly. Still you have to take corrective actions. Corrective actions means there is an error between the desired and the actual. So how to bridge that gap? You have to take some action there. That is called corrective action. You are correcting that error, right? So same in mathematics also I have explained, no? Suppose if you have done some mistake somewhere, you have to again cross-check. Cross-check is this, okay? And then act. Find out that mistake you have done, correct it. That is corrective action. That is action. Plan, do, check, act. Even in mathematics also we apply this. The moment you read that problem, you should plan how to go about that, which type of problem it is, what type of solution is there, which type of formula you have to use. Then start doing it. Given data, apply the formula and substitute. And check. Check if the answer is okay, it's okay. Otherwise, you will be cross-checking again, right? And if some mistake is there, please correct it. Take the corrective action there. Then it completes a cycle. Apply it to the next problem. So that is the technique which I am going to give you today. And root cause analysis. Every problem will have some cause. Cause means reason. Every problem may be created by someone, created by some situation, created by ourselves, our own mind, and created by God. So many types of problems are there. Okay. Some people create their own problems. Their mind creates problems for them. In some cases, situations create problems. different situations in life create problems. Okay. And in some cases, problems are created by other people. Problems are created by God to test us. So there might be n number of root causes. So we have to identify the root cause. Finally, what is the root cause? We should identify. So, suppose the moment we read a problem, we identify a problem. Immediately, some solution strikes in our mind. But you should delve into the depth to see what might be the root cause. Why this is happening to me? If you see, you will identify something. Then why that is happening? Then you will land up in other. Why that is happening? That is how we have to think. Why? That is called why analysis. So finally, we will reach at the root cause, which will be a very small thing. Solve that, the problem is solved. Understood? So that is how we have to analyze through using why technique. That is 5 analysis. Why? That is how we are asking why 5 times till it breaks. So after that, there is no further why. Till that point we should reach. That is reasoning, right? So interrogative questioning. From there we find the root cause. We can easily solve that. Cause and effect diagram, that is fishbone diagram. We call it Ishikawa diagram also in quality circle concept. Here, what is the cause and what is the effect? So every cause will have some effect. So cause means reason. What is the effect? Suppose some headache is there in your mind. What might be the probable causes for that? Your food intake. Too much of screen time. You are watching movies for so much of time, and horror movies, let us say. And some people, or you have attended a lecture of 3-4 hours continuously, or you have not taken food. So many factors might be the reasons for your headache. Those are different reasons. Okay. And again, further you have to find out the sub cause. Suppose 4 hours lecture you have already continuously seen. Why? Again, sub reason, because you have not attended earlier. Screen time more. Why? We have some reason. So that is how we will be identifying. And why you have not attended the class? Again, some other reason. So that is how a fishbone is drawn. Ishikawa diagram, right? Then we will find out the major root cause from that. And probable causes also. Probable causes means probable solutions, right? If you are finding out the root cause, then the solution lies there. Okay. That is how we have to find out the root cause. Understood, no? Are you following? And one more important, yeah. And one more important analysis is 5W1H. This is a wonderful concept. That is why, what, when, where, how, all these factors and who, right? All 5W1H, that is interrogative questioning. So your interrogation means it happens in not only in court, in our mind also we should interrogate the problem, right? You are interrogating the problem and trying to find out the solution out of it using these basic questions. Who, what, when, why, how, so, and where. So 5W1H analysis also you can easily do. Okay, for each and every problem, it is very simple to use this technique. So even for learning also it is used. What is this? Why we are using this? All these questions, even in research also we have to follow this technique. The rationale of the problem, that is why. What methodology you are using, what? So everything and how you are doing in research methodology, you will be defining that. How you are concluding, how you are interpreting. So all these things will come not only in mathematics, not only in research, but also in the real world. You can apply all these principles. And one more important principle here is Pareto principle, that is 80-20 rule. Means what? Out of 100 problems, if we find and solve 20 problems, the remaining 80 will automatically get solved. Because these 20 problems will only contribute to 80 problems. That is called vital few. Vital few. So we have to find out those vital few problems. If you try to solve those, then automatically remaining 80% problems will be solved. So our efforts are reduced to 20% only. You need not solve each and every problem. Okay. If you solve this problem, automatically 5 problems will be solved or 4 problems will be solved. Then it is very beautiful, no? So we can concentrate only 20% and get the profit of 80%. So that is Pareto principle. So how to find out these 20 problems, 20% problems? That is the question mark. So first of all, you have to list out the problems, list out the solutions, and see which comes in 20%. How to do that? We will see. That is vital few. So most critical problems, and you should analyze each and every problem, whether this problem is contributing to so many problems or not, or this solution will solve so many problems or not. That also we should identify. Try to attack those problems which are in this 20%. Now we'll see some of the problem solving methods also. That is trial and error. It is the favorite of most of the students. So the moment you see a problem, if you don't know the solution, just try and error. Trial and error. Even in multiple choice also, just hit something. Out of A, B, C, D, something if you put, whether if that solves the problem, then it is okay. Otherwise, just it is because of God's grace, right? So this is somewhat best technique treated by the students, but unfortunately it is not a scientific technique. But sometimes if no problem is there, no previous history is there, no data is there, nothing is there, then only you have to apply this technique. Otherwise, normally, even though it is a very easy technique, we should not use this technique very often. We should use all the scientific techniques, remaining techniques, which I am going to say. That is through research. So we should identify the data. We should understand what is the literature, whether this type of problem is solved earlier or not. That is literature review. Or if it is a new problem. Okay. You have to justify that it is a new problem from your literature review. And then statement of the problem, hypothesis, all these things. And then finally, you will be collecting your data through research methodology and all. And then you will be analyzing, concluding, interpretation through interpretation and all. So that is how research is done. Extensive research should be done for understanding the problem and solving the problem. Even in the real world also. Careful observation of in and around, what is happening in and around. If you are observing very carefully, very mindfully, that offers solutions automatically. Okay, you can identify the problems and how these people are solving those problems. That also we should understand. We should take the input from all the people and surroundings also. So all those things will help us in solving our problems and real world problems also. And one more important principle is Kaizen principle. What is this? You have a very big complex problem. The moment you see a complex problem, you will be afraid. And our mind is such that it avoids problems. No. Mind wants to be always comfortable. It normally shows resistance for problems. So it won't take problems in, but we think mind creates problems, but normally mind resists. Okay. That's why problems pile up and that will create a problem again. Understood? So we have to understand our nature of mind and act accordingly. If it is a big problem, your mind won't help you to solve the problem. So break it into small chunks. Okay. If you suppose you want to meditate for 1 hour, that is your target, that is your problem, but you are not able to maintain that. Do the meditation for 1 hour, let us say. Then try to break it. 2 minutes meditation, 1 minute meditation, even though it is not possible, but you just think in the mind that 1 minute meditation I'll do from now onwards. Then your mind accepts, then you can start meditating 1 minute each day. After some days, you can increase it to 2 minutes, then 5 minutes, then 10 minutes. Like that, you can slowly improve. That incremental improvements in any process is suggested by this principle, Kaizen principle. Finally, you will come to know that you have achieved a bigger chunk at the end of the day. Suppose daily 1 minute meditation you are doing for 365 days means 360 minutes you have done. Okay, per year. Suppose if you do it, if you want to do it 1 hour a day, you won't start at all. Okay, at least you got 365 hours of meditation by using this principle of 1 minute meditation. Understood? So simultaneously, you can apply this principle in each and every walk of life. If you face any big problem, break it into small chunks. Try to break it. Then your mind accepts. You can easily focus on a small part rather than a bigger issue, right? So that also is there in Kaizen principle. You can easily use that. And bringing analogy. This is my favorite actually. Suppose already I have applied this technique, right? Mathematics problems, research problems, and real world problems. I have brought an analogy. Solving techniques are same. We can apply same techniques in all the fields, even though all fields are different. That is analogy. If you are bringing some analogy, then you should have a diverse understanding of all the subjects. So we should know something about everything and everything about something. That will help us understand the problem in a different perspective. Perspective means different thought, different angle of seeing a particular problem. Suppose one problem may look something difficult to all the people, but it may look very simple to me. Okay, that is my perception. My lookout towards that problem is entirely different from others. So why? Because I'm applying some analogy and I'm using my knowledge of other fields and applying it to this field. That is analogy. Okay. So manufacturing industry principles we are applying to our real life. That is analogy. So this problem is similar to the problem faced in the industry. So I'm applying that solution in the real life also, whether it is possible or not. That I am cross-checking. That is analogy, right? So every time when we are observing anything, we should correlate with some other concept. That will help in our memory also, in memorizing, that is in improving our cognitive skills also, it will be very much helpful. And finding out the solutions also becomes very easy when you use this analogy technique. Even in research also we can apply that. Lateral thinking, that is think differently, think out of box. So why should we follow all the previous style of solutions? Can we create a new solution for a problem? That is lateral thinking. Why should I follow all these people? You try to become a scientist yourself. Why should I follow all Newton's laws or Einstein's principles and all. If you try to find out a new principle, then you are always welcome, right? So try to think differently, come out with lateral thinking. That will also solve your problem. It will solve the real world problems also. You will be an inventor. You know the difference between invention and discovery, right? Discovery means you are just identifying something which is already existing, but people have not found. Inventing means you are creating something new. Collective solutions, that is inclusive approach. Suppose you are not able to solve a problem yourself, you can take the help of others, but it won't work in mathematics. Please remember, you cannot ask other people to help you in a mathematics examination. You have to solve your problem there, right? But in real world, at least you have some flexibility of asking other people to help you. But finally, you have to take your own decision. That is always better, because they might not understand your problem. They are trying to help you without understanding your problem in your perspective. They will be adding their own perspective. They will be adding some bias to it. They will be adding some prejudice to it. All those masala will not help you in cooking with your problem. Okay. So you have to find out your solution, but still you can take other people's advice. That is inclusive approach. You are including more and more people, because if you are increasing the number of people involved in that, then their minds will add to your mind. So you will be coming out with more and more ideas, more and more probable solutions. Finally, you can take your own call. That is your decision to solve that problem. Normally, what we should do is understand that problem. What are the probable solutions for that? There might not be a single solution for a problem. Okay, there can be 10, thousands, n number of solutions are there for a particular problem. Identify, write down all those probable solutions, and depending on your resources, man, machine, material, and money, depending on your competency, depending on your capability. So identify the possible and feasible and practicable solutions. Okay, all solutions might not be practicable, practically implementable, and economically feasible. Suppose some solution is there, but you don't have money to invest on that, then it is not a viable solution. So you have to identify a viable, practicable, and economically feasible solution. Okay. So you can take input from other people also. That is, you are including so many people to get more and more ideas, probable ideas. Finally, you have to take the decision based on your circumstances. That you should remember. Nobody will offer you a ready-made solution. Okay, even if they offer also, you should take it as a probable solution only. You are the person, you are the master to find out or decide which type of solution you are going to take for a particular problem, because nobody can understand from your perspective. Delegation. What is delegation? Suppose I have 10 problems with me. I can give 2 problems to you, 3 problems to you. Suppose a person, a head of a family, has 3 problems. One small problem, he can give it to his son or daughter, right? That is delegation. He is giving, means he is giving the entire autonomy to take independent decisions also. Delegation means what? A CEO of a company is distributing his problems or the problems of the company to his subordinates also independently. They can also solve the problems, because complex problems and so many problems cannot be solved by a single person. So he can delegate someone who is more efficient and effective to solve those problems. That is delegation, delegation of power. So he is empowered to take independent decisions to solve that problem. That is called delegation, not transferring. Suppose I have 10 problems, I cannot do, that's why I am transferring. That should not be the case. I'm confident I can do some problems, I can solve some problems, but due to lack of time and resources, I'm not able to do so, and I'm grooming other people also. So I'm delegating the problems. So we should give some small problems to our children also to understand the problem solving techniques. They should do or solve the problems independently. Okay, then only you can solve the real world problems. So I already told you there will be a key book. Suppose if that is available, then people will be relaxed. So the problems are there and the solutions are there. Just you can watch. But you should understand the entire concept. It will be taken as a practice to solve the problems coming in the examination or coming in the real world. That is what we should understand. And even you can delegate also, but in examinations it won't work again. In mathematics case, you cannot delegate. This problem is given to you, you solve. This problem is given to you, you solve, my friend, and give all the solutions I will write down. That won't work in the examinations, right? So, but in real world, that can happen. In the business world or in the industry also, it can happen. A father can give a small problem to a son, he can solve on his own, and you are just observing whether he is following all the techniques or whether he is following the right track or not. You can guide them, okay, with a small intervention. Normally interventions are not required if they are already understanding all these principles and following the right track, right path towards a proper solution of a particular problem. Outsourcing consultancy. What is this? Outsourcing. I have no idea about this problem. Okay. And nobody is there to help me also. So you will be consulting someone who is the expert in that field. Okay. I'm not an expert of IT, let us say. I have some problem with my laptop or my communication device. Then I will be approaching someone who is an expert, right? So that is outsourcing. The problem is with me. The problem is with the laptop. Okay, but I cannot solve that. I'm approaching someone who is an expert. Okay, similarly in real world also, some problems are there, some health problems are there. You are approaching a doctor who is an expert in that. Mental problems are there. You are approaching a psychologist or psychiatrist who is an expert in that. They are offering the solutions. You are following them. That is expert advice. Even in Kaun Banega Crorepati also you will see. So some problems they will solve by themselves. After that, they will be using this phone a friend or this opinion poll, audience poll, right? So they are taking the help of other people. Expert advice is phone a friend, right? They are calling the experts and taking their help to solve this problem faced there, because he is not able to solve that, right? That is also accepted. Avoiding problems, completely avoid. No, don't think of these problems. Just put them aside. So the problems will pile up and finally they will become huge. I have already told you, if there is a huge problem, you have to break it into pieces. Then only your mind will solve those. Okay, that is Kaizen principle. It is exactly opposite. You are avoiding and the problems are piling up. You cannot solve those problems. So never avoid the problems. Try to solve them day by day. We'll see the problem solving steps. What are the steps involved in that? The first step is to identify the problem. Most of the people, they don't identify the problem clearly. They don't read the question in mathematics, first of all, in any competitive exam also. So understanding that question itself has some answer. Okay. Without understanding, without reading that question, without understanding the problem, they jump to a conclusion. They try to jump to a solution also. Okay. after so much of time, they may realize that they have misunderstood the problem. And some people, they never understand that they have misunderstood the question itself. They misunderstood the problem itself. Without understanding the problem, don't come to the conclusion, don't come to the solution, don't misjudge. Okay, the moment you see a similar kind of problem, already your mind says, your mind tries to apply analogy, and you won't read the actual problem. You think that is this only, and immediately trying to solve the problem. It happens in mathematics, it happens in research also, it happens in real world also. So please identify the problem and define it very clearly. Understand that problem first, which type of problem, whether it is an urgent problem or a problem which can be postponed later, and what is the impact of the problem. So every problem will give an impact. Suppose if I'm not solving a 10 marks problem, no worries. If you are not solving 10 marks problems, that is 100 out of 100 you are not solving, that is you will get 0 marks. Then it is a cause of concern, right? So that is how you have to prioritize and understand the problems and attack those. Accept the problems. In examinations, normally problems only will come, no? In the question paper, questions will come. In mathematics question paper, problems will come, not the solutions. You have to write the solutions. It is the nature, right? In real world also, problems will come. Some are self-created, some are created by others, some are created by God. So many varieties are there in problems. So accept those wholeheartedly. Problems are coming means you are on the right track. Understood? So accept the problems wholeheartedly. Try to understand them, analyze, define the problem very clearly, which I already told you. Analyze the problem and find out the probable solutions. Probable solutions means any of these may solve the problem, but we are trying to choose the best one out of these. Okay, we have not yet arrived at the final solution. We have just saying these might solve my problem. So different solutions, different options you are taking. From that, you have to find out the final solution. Decide that. There are decision support system softwares available nowadays to solve the bigger problems, that is complex problems in the world are solved by decision support systems. These systems won't solve the problems. Please try to understand the word decision support system. You have to take the decision. It will support your decision. It will help you in taking a right decision for solving a problem. That's all. Every software or every person or every idea can help you to find out the real solution, but you are the problem solver. You have to take the decision considering all the probable solutions collected from different techniques which I have already told you. So here one more term I want to introduce is decision support systems. These are the latest softwares available which will help us in taking a decision to solve a problem. It is a software, okay, but it won't solve the problem. You have to solve the problem by taking the help of that. Implement that. Implement your decision. Please implement as soon as you take a decision, and then check whether it is acting properly or not, or take some corrective actions and further improvements. Corrective actions you need to take for further improvements through your Kaizen principle also, it says the same. After implementation, you should take corrective actions by measuring the performance and act accordingly. We have a beautiful concept in the industry and even in academy also. Some schools, some colleges form a quality circle. What is a quality circle? A group of people assembled to tackle day-to-day problems. Small problems they will take up and they will identify the solutions and implement them and standardize those. Okay, So this will help us in team building, and there are n number of advantages out of this. They will motivate the people, and group cohesion will take place, and we can find we can drag synergy out of these group of people, and it is teamwork for finding out a solution of day-to-day problems. So automatically problems will also be solved, and it will increase the productivity. So many other helpful useful things are there out of these quality circles. Even students can form a quality circle. How to improve our classroom, how to improve our learning, how to improve our learning by sharing. Okay, and they can solve all the small issues of their own group. 4 to 5 people, hardly 6 people can form a quality circle. What is that in that? Again, we'll see there are 12 steps in that, similar to the previous steps we have already explained, but let us see. Identification of the problems. So what are your day-to-day problems? Please list out those problems. And here normally people use brainstorming technique for selection of the problem. Out of these problems, which are important to us, and identification of the problems is through brainstorming. और क्या problem है? What are the problems in my daily course? List out, further list out. And brainstorming technique says number one. So already 6 members are there in a team. Number 1 will say some problems, 3, 4. 2 will say 3, 4. And 4 will come out with 3, 4, like that. So all the people will be given a chance to spell out the problems and identify those problems, list out, and then selection of the problem. What is the vital few? We have to identify some problems and then define the problem. We should clearly define what is the problem. Analyze that problem using different techniques. Identification of causes. What are the causes which are contributing to this problem? That also we should identify. Fishbone diagram also I have told you. Finding out the root causes, sub causes, sub causes, and finally we should arrive at the root cause through Ishikawa diagram or fishbone diagram, and then we can apply other techniques. Data analyze. Data analysis is through different techniques, right? Even statistics can also be used in data analysis for developing a solution. After developing the solution, we should foresee the probable resistance. The moment you are trying to implement, there will be some problems. Okay, again, people won't accept. You are trying to change something means resistance to change will always be there from management. You have to convince management, you have to convince the people in and around to implement that particular solution. You should say that this solution is the best solution for this problem. You should convince other people. Then only they will help you in implementing that. That is foreseeing probable resistance. And trial implementation. Then after convincing, they will allow you for trial implementation. You will be just trying your solution with a small sample. Then you will see the performance, whether it is acceptable or not. If it is okay as per your suggestion, then you can go for final implementation, that is regular implementation and checkup. You will be continuously monitoring how this cycle is going on. Again, you will find out a new problem, you will come out with the solutions, like that. You can easily apply it for your colleges also, for your day-to-day life also, even at home also. We can form our family is nothing but a quality circle. Okay, we can discuss among the family members. You can identify day-to-day problems and find out the solutions for that using this technique. And even Quality Circle Forum of India is conducting some quality circle competitions also. Your lecturers, your staff, Your students can participate by forming quality circles, and this is the problem we have identified through our quality circle. You can name your quality circle also, and you can present there that this technique we have already used in solving this problem. We have identified these problems are, and this is the solution. These are the results, and that is how we have implemented this quality circle 12-step methodology in our problem solving methodology. That is what you can say. Finally, you have to follow up and review. After regular implementation, whether it is okay or not, you have to regularly check. That is follow up and review. Review means taking corrective actions. Suppose some errors are coming, some problems are coming. Again, you have to solve those small issues. Now we will see what is ideation. Problems are there. We should have ideas to solve those. What are those ideas and how to come out with new ideas for problem solving? That is ideation. It is a systematic and scientific process of thinking to come out with good ideas. How to come out with good ideas, innovative ideas, thoughts is nothing but ideation. That process and various methods also I'll explain in this. Ideas, creativity and innovation. There are differences in this. Ideas are nothing but new thoughts, let us say. The moment you are thinking, that is your idea, right? For a particular problem. And then creativity. Suppose if it is entirely new, then it becomes a creative idea. An idea will get converted into creativity if it is a new idea. And if it is economically feasible, practicably viable, then it becomes innovation. Okay. Your idea should get converted into an innovation. Innovation means it is sellable. You can sell this idea to others. And it is meeting others' needs also. Okay. Then you can sell it, right? So that becomes an innovation. So as an entrepreneur, you should have the innovation quality in you. That is, you should think whether it is practically suitable and economically viable. Economically viable means it should give profits. At least you should not be under loss, right? After implementing that. So that is what innovation is. So that is how we should think. Here we have seen brainstorming. Brainstorming means a group of people sitting together coming with different ideas and nobody stops them. This is the solution. What are your options? Probable solutions, please say. Then member 1 will say some problems. We have to list out. 2 will say some problems. And if these people have resistance to say when people are there, then they can write also. That is called brain writing. The previous thing is brainstorming. Your brainstorming means you are just discussing with people openly and they are coming out with their ideas very openly and freely without any fear. That is brainstorming. If they have fear in saying, then they can write and come. That is brain writing. Body storming means you are assigning some roles to people and they will perform and find out the solution. That is body storming. And mind mapping. One idea, one problem and sub-problem, that is subcause, and then finally you are offering a solution and further you are dividing it into part of the solutions using that Kaizen principle, and then each point is subdivided into different areas. That is mind mapping. You are mapping your mind. The entire fishbone diagram is in your mind. That is mind mapping. Okay. Even we have mind mapping apps and softwares also available nowadays. Even in research also we use this mind mapping. The problem is there and different research papers, and this person has told this and this person has told this, and finally we are concluding this. That is how you are mapping the ideas for research, for mathematics also, for life, real life problems also. We can use this technique very easily. Analogies, which I have already told you, you can bring out the analogies for understanding in a much better way, in a holistic way. Holistic understanding and wonderful solutions can be offered through this technique. Questioning, frequently ask questions. That will create new ideas. That's why those interrogative questions, 5W1H, is very, very important to understand a particular topic, to understand a particular problem, and finding out different solutions for that. Is that bird's eye view? So we should have a holistic view and with a concentrated view also, like the Arjuna aiming at the bird's eye, right? In Mahabharata, we have this story. Arjuna is aiming at the bird eye directly. He is that much of concentration, but he has that much of concentration. But what I tell you is, suppose some elephant or lion comes from behind and eats him, then. So we should have a holistic view, and simultaneously you should concentrate on your job. That is bird's eye view. This is also bird's eye view, that is eagle. Eagle can see everything and pinpointedly can see the target. That is eagle's view or bird's eye view. So we should master our mind. That is mindfulness. That is being aware of our thoughts. So we should step out of the problem to see the problem very clearly. If you are in the problem, you cannot identify solution. Seeing as a spectator or as an observer sitting at the bank of the river, seeing the waves or seeing the problem, then you can find out the solution. Because in most of the cases, you see people offer free solutions to other problems, other people's problems. Suppose if some person is there in the problem, immediately people offer so many solutions free of cost, right? So that is the nature of the mind. So you also should get detached, jump out of the problem and see yourself at a distance from a problem. If you are in the problem, means that is the problem. If you just come out and observe the problem from a different perspective, from an observer's perspective, then you will easily find out the solution. This is the wonderful technique which I can damn sure tell you. That is mindfulness technique. Being aware of our thoughts, observing the thoughts. Here, thoughts and problems, solutions, you can apply all, okay, through the analogy technique. Achieving concentration, focus, mastering the mind. You can master the mind by getting detached from the problem and observe that. Then you will find out the solutions, probable solutions, and arrive at the particular solution through the holistic view. This is holistic view. You are observing from a different perspective. That is bird's eye view. From macro to micro. Total picture you are able to see, and you are seeing pinpointedly the problem and the solution. Your problem will look very big when you are in that. If you come out and see the holistic view, your problem looks very simple. It is like a drop in a big ocean of problems. Okay, so many bigger problems are there in the world. Your problem is a very minute little drop. That is macro perspective. So it is a very small problem, means can you leave that? No, because it is big for you. It is a small problem in a bigger world, but in your small world, it is a bigger problem. So that is macro to micro. So micro level thinking to macro, you should grow to understand the holistic view of the problem and come out to solve the problem with a full of concentration and devotion. So both the skills we should have. That is, our mind should be like the lens of a camera which can be zoomed to see the bird's eye clearly. We should zoom the camera to see the bird eye clearly, and you should unzoom the camera to see the bird's eye view. That is eagle's view, holistic view. Total picture also you should be able to see, and you should zoom it to see the bird's eye very clearly, and unzoom to see the total picture. That you should always continuously practice in your life. Be the jack of all trades and master of one. Earlier it was master of none. If you are understanding everything, you can't do anything. That's what earlier people used to believe. But I changed it to be the jack of all trades and master of one. We should know something about everything and everything about something. Then only you will have the overall picture, and pinpointedly you can focus, like which I have already told you in the previous sentence. Turn inward and outward. So you are seeing your problem and simultaneously seeing from the other's perspective. That is, you are getting detached from your problem and seeing from there. That is outward look. Inward means you are in the problem, you are feeling that pain. That is inward. So we should be like front and rear cameras of the mobile phone. We should just switch, swap, flip, like front and rear cameras of the mobile phone. Turn inward, feel your problem, understand your problem, come outward and see from a different perspective, from the observer's perspective, which I already told you. That is outward. Understood? Come on, jump out of box. Have a different perspective. People say come out of, think out of box. Now I am saying jump out of box. Just come out of your world. Think differently. From there you should see the problem and the solution. Then you can easily identify the problem and solution. Okay? This is another aspect. Now we'll see some more idea. This is, you just see, we all know this story, but I have changed the story. I have added some value to it with my innovation. Understood? That is what innovation is. We should add value to what is existing. That is research. That is innovation. Okay? So existing story we all know. What extra we can add and what extra we can learn from that. That is what I did through this. Okay, again, one more example I'll give. We all know about Newton's apple story. One day he was sitting in under an apple tree, and an apple has fallen. He has understood the gravitational force is the cause of that. How? Because he thought why. He has applied that why. Why it is falling down? Why not it is going up? So he has continuously asked this question and found this gravitational pull theory. Okay, had it been we there sitting at the apple under the apple tree and an apple has fallen, then we would say this apple is very beautiful. It should have fallen. I should have eaten that apple. That is what we see. Okay, thinking about the fruits, not the roots. See, in Bhagavad Gita, there is Nishkam Kriya, that is without expecting something, we should do our work. So in problem solving also, without having the desire to solve the problem, we should not focus much more on the result of solving the problem. We should focus on the problem first, process of solving it, then automatically results will come. So that is Nishkam Kriya without Phalapeksha. That is, we should not concentrate on the fruit or result of solving the problem. It can motivate us, okay, to some extent, but we should focus more on the problem, understanding the problem, finding out the solution, implementing it, then only the result will come, right? So here I brought the analogy technique I have used to understand much more clearly. That is apple, which is a fruit, that is result, right? if we are focusing much more on the apple and not focusing on the process of falling there, then we cannot find the gravitational pull theory. But most of the times we focus on the result rather than the process. So we should follow the process first. That is, problem solving is a process. Identification of the problem, I have already told you the entire process. That process, if you are following it thoroughly, then automatically result will come. If you are focusing on the result, or if you are focusing much more on the problem, then nothing will come. Or problem is there. If you are too much worried on the problem itself, then no result will come. If you are very much worried about the result while solving the problem itself, then also no result will come. You have to concentrate on the problem solving technique you are using, then only the results will come automatically. So that is Nishkam Kriya. Without expectations, you are applying your basic knowledge of problem solving. Finally, I conclude by saying the quality of our life depends on the quality of problems we solve. Okay, this is the statement given by myself only. So the quality of life depends on the quality of problems we solve. So if you are solving more and more problems in your life, then automatically your quality of life is increasing. Please do remember, if more problems are coming, then that means your life is becoming much more better if you are the capability to solve that. Problems are like tests. Okay, you are passing them means you are getting more and more degrees, no? See, it is the same in life also. So let us all master the skill of solving our own problems and real world problems. First of all, we should solve our problems first, self problems, and then family problems, then society problems, then state problems, nations problems, and world problems. That is how the priority goes. Okay, so let us all solve the problems very confidently by using all these techniques. Thank you so much. I'm open for the questions. Thank you.
Sir, thank you so much. I think there are some questions. Dear participant, those who have questions, you can ask here. Now the session is open for question answering. Sir, I think there are some. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Hello, my voice is clear?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, please proceed.
Quality control that is in manufacturing unit is used in that is Six Sigma, which is used in quality control, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, we can apply it to any field actually. Using this analogy principle, we can use it Six Sigma principle even in education, even in real world, even in any format. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. All these quality principle concepts we can use anywhere. Even children can use in their games and all. Even the students can use in their career, in their studies. Even we can use in our own life for family related problems and all. Every concept we can use anywhere and everywhere. Yes, sir. Yeah. Any other questions, please?
So, sir, I think there is no more question.
Okay, I'm just checking the chat box.
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am, please ask.
Yeah, Sandra Almeida here from Mumbai.
Yeah, yes, ma'am, please say.
Kaizen therapy can be applied anywhere?
Yeah, obviously. a bigger problem, you are breaking it to small chunks and you are trying to solve those small problems in life. And finally, you will end up in landing with a solution for a bigger problem. That's what I have explained actually. Suppose if you are facing a problem in doing meditation or yoga for 1 hour, just break it into 1 minute. Then your mind will accept. You start doing that. Then you can slowly increase the time and reach one hour set point after some period of time. So that even it helps in habit formation also. So we can use this technique anywhere in any format of life. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
ma'am.
I'm amazed with your session.
Yeah,
It was
thank
really
you so much.
wonderful. Lots of concepts were there. Still, you justified all the concepts. Thanks for clearing it and coming to the very basically you had explained that. This was really a wonderful session with
Yeah, because
excellent
most of them are
explanation.
students also, ma'am. It is not for not only for the faculty members. Students are also there. That's why
Okay,
this problem has come. Yeah,
very nice.
I
Yeah,
should manage all the people. So, yeah.
yeah. Thanks for such a beautiful explanation and excellent session. Thanks to
Thank you.
entire team of organizers from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, I should also thank the organizers for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to interact with you all on this wonderful topic. I'm also very excited to deliver this. Yeah, I should learn from my own lecture. Yeah.
Is there any more question?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Firstly, I would like to say it was a very amazing session. Thank you so much. Uh,
Yes.
my question
Thank
is,
you.
the principles or theories which you have explained to us, what differences do we see after using this in our own life or in any career aspect which we can do?
Yeah, actually, every problem is unique. Every solution is unique. Every situation is unique. Okay. So these are all are the concepts only. Okay. We apply it to different situations, different concepts in different problems, right? So different results will come. When you apply it differently, different results will come. So try to explore that. Okay. You apply it in a different way and see what type of solution is coming. Okay. Already some standardized practices are there and predefined solutions are there, then there is no innovation, no? So try to explore with the new thoughts. And not only these principles, you should come out with your own principle, clubbing all these principles and apply, right? So that is how innovation is. So if someone is saying you follow this, that is just a suggestion. Okay, you should take the decision. You should add value to that and then try to implement, right? That's what I already told you. Yeah, please try to implement and have more benefit in your own way. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
I think
Yeah,
there is no.
someone is asking about the feedback link. First of all, I should ask the feedback from you all, how you felt, and give a concrete feedback for further improvement. Most of them, they say excellent session. That is not the actual feedback, right? So you should give a critical feedback to improve myself. That is for incremental improvement. That is through Kaizen principle. So small suggestions will improve my performance. That is Kaizen. So I have applied here also, right? So everywhere we can use all these principles. That is continual improvement. Stepwise improvement is continual improvement. Continuous means it is like a straight line. Okay, stepwise improvement is continual improvement. That is what is suggested by Kaizen. So we have to slowly improve in steps to reach the bigger destination, target or goal of life. Yeah. Yes,
Is
sir.
anyone, those who want to give live feedback?
or any questions also, you can post it
Yeah.
in the chat box also,
Chat box.
if you are hesitant.
Okay, sir. I think there is no more question. Thank you so much, sir. Very nicely you have correlated mathematics with our practical life, because I think it is very excellent example. Our life is like mathematics, because in mathematics also there are some kind of subtraction, addition, multiplication, etc. In the same way, there are some ups and down in our day-to-day life. So just it is my personal view. If there is no ups and down, if there is no fluctuations in our life, there is no taste of life. Like in food, there is the importance of spices. In the same way, these problems are also play a role like a spice in our day-to-day life. So you have very nicely explain these things. In the same way, sir, you have given the example of Arjuna, means you have taken from Mahabharata. Okay, Arjuna was a great warrior. So you have created, you have correlated the example of Arjuna with the modern aspect, that is scientific aspect, with the help of Newton's gravitational law, with the help of the apple. So with this, thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to invite Pooja Kurmi, sorry, the student of Department of Self-Learning, to propose the vote of thanks for this national level workshop. Over to you, Pooja.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Namaste to all. Good afternoon, Honorable Resource Person, Dr. Subba Rao, sir, respected Principal, sir, Vice Principal, sir, teachers, and all the participants of this workshop. It is my proud privilege to propose vote of thanks on behalf of Institution Innovation Council and Department of Commerce of Srimati Radha Devi Goenka College for Women, Akola, Maharashtra, for this national level workshop on problem solving and ideation. When we express gratitude, we must not forget that the highest appreciation is not the simply utter word, but to live by them. With this opportunity to express our profuse gratitude and sincere thanks to President of Bharatiya Seva Sadan and Institution Innovation Council, Mr. Dilip Rajji Goenka sir, for his dedicated hard work towards our college, for giving his strength to our college for achieving new heights. Thanks a million, sir. We would like to extend our thanks to Dr. Devendraji Vyas, sir, the principal of our college, who continuously inspire us. A bunch of thanks to you, sir. Our sincere thanks to our resource person and today's speaker, Dr. Subba Rao, sir, for the valuable thought that you have expressed on today's topic. Thank you, sir, for accepting to come on this online platform to deliver the lecture today. Your word has taught each one of us with a mind-awakening message how to solve problem in life. At next, I would like to thank Head of Department of Commerce, Honorable Dr. Ambadasji Pandey, sir, for your mindful efforts and for motivating us to do new things all the time. Next, I would like to take a moment to thank our convener, Institution Innovation Council, Dr. Rupa Gupta ma'am, for your constant efforts that she takes towards the overall growth of student. That the most important appreciation goes to all the participants for their active participation and for the passion of learning new thing. You all are the grace of this workshop. At last but not the least, a big thank to all faculty members of Institution Innovation Council and Department of Commerce and technical team. Swapnil Jain sir, Yogesh Surve sir, Aware sir, Ram Sharma sir, Amar Agrawal sir, for your technical support and non-teaching staff for their selfless endeavors and best coordination towards making this workshop successful. On this positive note, we move on the end of today's workshop. Thank you everyone for being here today. Thank you all.
I would like to thank the management of Srimati Radha Devi Goenka College for Women for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to deliver this talk on problem solving and ideation. Let us multiply our happiness in the world. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Once again, thank you. Thank you all the participants.
Congratulations, today's speaker. Subbu, I'm here. Dr. Bhavna Premchand.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for attending.
Yes. And congratulations for the college organized such a good webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir, and congratulations, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Dear participant, the link has already shared in the chat box. Please fill the feedback link. As soon as you will fill the feedback, you will get certificate on your registered email ID.
Okay, madam.
Okay, ma'am. May I leave, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much once again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you so much.